What is going on, guys? Today we are going to ride and talk about the Ninja 650 and why it is actually a good beginner bike from the point of view of a beginner himself. That would be me. So let's just quick walk around the bike and talk about a couple things. So this is the Ninja 650 KRT edition, Kawasaki Racing Team. This bike does not have ABS, which I thought was a little weird, but I mean, at the end of the day, skill over technique kind of thing. But as a new rider, you probably want that ABS option on there. It's a parallel twin, liquid cooled parallel twin for 649 cc engine. It's got like, what is it? It's like 67 horsepower and 42 foot-pounds of torque. So it's got the get up and go, but it's a good forgiving bike, and that's one of the reasons why I think that the 650 is such a good motorcycle for beginners, because it's a very forgiving bike. And when I say forgiving, I mean if you're going down the road and you downshift too early, that back tire is not going to spin around and kick you off like a mule. So it's got that going for it. The Ninja 650s, they haven't really changed over a long period of time. It seems like they were all kind of the same for the longest time, but the 2023 introduced a new thing. If you see over here, KTRC, Kawasaki Traction Control. It's got 3 modes, 1 being a little bit of input, 2 being the most input. So as a new rider, I kind of keep that on for a little bit of an extra safety thing, but it's also good for rain and wet manhole covers from the website. And you can turn traction control completely off, and that's a preference thing. It's all on how you ride the bike and how aggressive you want to ride the bike. But other than that, there's not anything really different about it. Usually a KRT edition is just like a color issue, which, I mean, that's why I got this bike, because I absolutely am in love with the color. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. I always wanted a white bike. White just pops. It looks great. I mean, it's just an overall beautiful bike, I think. In my personal opinion, I think it is an absolutely fantastic looking bike. So again, as a beginner friendly bike, this is it. It's light. It's like 424 pounds wet, 422 dry. It's got enough technology on it. It's not a heavy bike. Like if you've never ridden a motorcycle, of course it's going to feel a little bit bigger to you, but it doesn't take long to get used to it. Not at all. It does not take long to get used to these bikes. And yeah, it's just a fantastic learner bike. But it's one of those bikes that, yeah, you learn on it, but you also grow on it. I mean, because after this one, I mean, if you kind of want to stay in the same realm, which, remember, the Ninja 650 is not a race bike. It's not a sports bike. It's not a super sports bike, right? Super sports, this shifter and these pegs are going to be further back. The ergonomics on this are so relaxed. Very upright body position. You're not hunched over. The Ninja 400 has clip-ons. These have these razors. So it's a super relaxed body position. You're not crouched over. And that's what I want. You know what I mean? If you're kind of like on the fence between, hey, I don't know if I want a 400 or a 650, forget the power thing. You know, the 400 has enough power to go on the highway, to do anything you want, especially as a beginner rider, and even as an advanced rider. And even for those people, they make the, what is it, the 4XR, I can't remember what it's called. It's an inline 4 instead of the parallel twin 399cc engine. But between the, you know, if you're up in the air between the 400 and the 650, it just depends on what you're trying to do. You know what I mean? You know, after this is like the 1000 or whatever, their touring model, because this is a sport touring bike. You know what I mean? It looks like a sports bike, and they call it a sports touring bike or whatever. But yeah, it's not. It's not a super sport bike, you know what I mean? So understand that's the difference between this and a 400. The 400, you know, has the clip-ons. It kind of gets you ready for that body position and for that aggressive style of riding. So if you want to go to the track and you want to be a more an aggressive rider, go for the 400. I personally like to ride my bikes a lot. So I plan on putting a bunch of hours on this bike, a bunch of time, miles on this bike. So I want to be comfortable. So that's why I got the 650 as far as that. Let's just go ahead and just jump on. It's super nice out. Oh, it's February. No, is it February or is it March? Is it March 1st? Or is it the last day of February? I can't remember. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Another reason why this bike is such a good beginner bike is, you know, it's got clutch assist, slipper clutch. It got a slipper clutch on it. You know what I mean? So it's got the perfect amount of technology. Got the perfect amount. That's nice. I like that. It's got the perfect amount of technology, but it's not overwhelmed in technology either. You know what I mean? So again, you know, the 650 as a beginner bike, I am a beginner. I have 19 hours on a motorcycle total in my life, excluding the MSF course or whatever. And I can't tell you how comfortable I feel on this bike. I feel really comfortable on it. You know, the bike has never really scared me, only whenever there was my own fault, you know, going into a turn a little too spicy. And that was about the only time, you know, I felt a little about it. But it's a super relaxed body position. I'm not hunched over. My back's not straining at all. It's light. It's flickable, right? You know, I can move this thing around. You know what I mean? It really is a fantastic beginner bike. And that's not to say that it's a slow bike. I mean, I don't know what the hell I did. I grabbed the clutch and revved up. I almost popped a fucking wheelie in 6th. I don't even know if you can do that. But, you know, well, I can't do it now. I was going to go a little spicy for you, but this guy decided he wants to share the road. And that's okay. He can share the road. Another pretty good reason why, you know, these 650s, these Ninja 650s specifically, are really nice beginner bikes is the price point. You know, I understand that, you know, $8,000 is a lot of money, but in the motorcycle company, or, you know, in the motorcycling world, it's not that bad. I mean, you figure an entry-level freaking Harley, probably an Iron 883, I don't know, it's probably going to start you around 12. So after taxes and title and all that stuff, I mean, you're probably looking at a $15,000-$16,000 bike as a beginner bike. You know what I mean? And what kind of sucks about dealerships in the sense is you can't really test them out. I guess you can. I guess you can go for a test drive or whatever, but it's not like a car. Making sure this guy behind me is stopping. I would love to adjust myself. It's getting a little cold on my backside. What else do I want to say about the Ninja 650? Why it's such a good beginner bike? Oh, the brakes. There you go. That's a perfect example. Let's make sure this truck behind me is stopping before I put it in neutral. He is, so he's doing his part. With this bike having a lot of power, it's got the brakes to back it up. I mean, the brakes on this are fantastic. You know, obviously learn how to use your brakes. You know, don't jump on your brakes. You know, slowly squeeze your brakes or whatever. That's not what this video is really about, but you know, keep that in mind, that, you know, Kawasaki did a fantastic job. Kawasaki did a fantastic job with you know, giving you the right power and giving you the brakes to back it up. You know what I mean? And that's another good thing about these bikes is the power band. So you get into some of these bikes like a 600 or whatever, they're power bands at a really high RPM, right? So you're going down, you're doing, you know, 8,000 RPM or whatever it is, and all of a sudden the power band kicks in, and that's whenever all the torque and horsepower kick in, and that sends your ass to the moon. Oh, we're gonna go. This has low end power. Let's go ahead and open it up. See what I mean? You got that get up and go, but it's not overpowering in the sense that it's gonna scare the shit out of you. But what I just did right there has, I don't want to say it saved my life, but it's nice to get away from the traffic. You know what I mean? Because I think people are probably your greatest threat. You know what I mean? Whenever it comes to riding a bike, and people don't see you, people don't care. People are on their phones or doing their own little thing, whatever. You know, it's just one of those things, and I love being able to put myself in a better position. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna go on the outside, apex in the middle, we're gonna look where we're turning. Oh, look how nice that was, even with obstacles in the middle of the road. We're on downshift one. But yeah, you know, I don't want to take up too much time, but if you're thinking about getting a Ninja 650 as your first bike, it's a very good bike to get as your first bike. I mean, it's light in the motorcycling world. It's got the power that you need, the low end torque. It's not going to scare you. It's not going to butt you off. It's got, you know, the technology that you need without being overwhelmed in technology. You know, it doesn't have race mode, track mode, blah blah blah. You know, it's got the traction control, which I rather have my traction control than the ABS, I think, to be honest with you. Because if your ABS engages, you as a rider did something wrong. You were too aggressive on the brakes or whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and execute this turn real quick. Yeah, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Love the Ninja 650. Highly recommend if you're up in the air between this and I don't know. I don't really know what else would be in the class of what you would be trying to get. You know, obviously, you know, I don't think I really have to be the one to tell you this, but a Ninja 600 and a Ninja 650 are not the same bike, and displacement. CCs does not necessarily mean more or less power. You know, the 600 is an inline 4. This is a parallel twin. They're two different engines doing two different things. The power band's different in the 600. It's got that high power band I was talking about that sends you to the moon if you're not careful. It's just on your preference, and it's just on what kind of riding you want to do. You know what I mean? But again, if you're thinking about a 650, I say get it, man, or girl, or whatever, because it's a very friendly bike. It's a nice, quiet, tame bike. You know, it responds well to everything you do. Love it. And I got to figure out new places to go, because I'm sick of going around the same old places. But take care. I'll see you in the next one.